We are live. Thank you for being here. Whoop. Save that. Got the thumbnail rolling. Steal my email. Just getting things rolling here. Good. This stream is in excellent condition. Well, that's good. Is it too late to add a thumbnail? Oh, nope. Kind of a chill day today. Just sweatshirt, no shirt and tie. All right, give me one moment here. I'll be right back. Just got to grab something. All right, here we are. Balls rolled now. This clown. I was trolling him before. We'll get to him later. The all-in KMB guy. Okay. Oh, it will actually load in Twitter. See, yeah, Twitter's been acting so weird the past several days. Okay, so it is working now. That's good. Copy link address. throw it down here, because why not? One more spot to put it. But positive price action for GameStop today. So the same thing I kind of always say to start out. Low volume, a lot of price action. Always interesting to see, right? Of course, the whole market kind of had this upward trajectory today. But GameStop's was obviously much stronger as it was up 10%. Of course, we see these other names to follow, but that's just how the game goes, right? But also have some main points. And definitely want to jump into institutional ownership today. I feel like that's something very much worth talking about. I have this little note here I'll get to later that I kind of just brainstormed before. But first, I think a very interesting tweet is this one I came across today. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up. It's actually from a Reddit post. Nice GMA day with the ups. Jackson's, thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Ryan Sung, thank you for being here. Probably the longest redacted comment I read. Listen clearly. The board chairman, the CEO, all board directors, and most GameStop executive leadership continue to buy more shares of GME with their own money. Even the upper management and supervisory ones with RSU and PSUs, 98% never sell, just hold long term because they know the truth where G America is going to long term for their retirement, business, and growth. GME is not a pump and dump hedge like AMC and Adam Enron or the rest of these other hedge pumps and possible squeeze anymore. GameStop paid off all its debt, went digital, growing as a tech company with own electronics and custom items, going Web3 online gaming, digital with assets, games, music, movies, NFTs, etc. When e-commerce. You guys keep reading. This is a long read here, but if you go to the end here, I like how this individual puts all these names in here. It says they're going to be monster powerhouses into the future going forwards. They'll also issue a cash dividend, crypto dividend soon on their own marketplace too, as well as go into the S&P 500. I think, at the end of it, what really made me smile in reading this whole thing is the individual wrote this whole thing and made it come down to shareholder value. Giving out NFT dividends in the future or cash dividends in the future, I think is a great way to deliver shareholder value, and just focusing on profitability and the fact they went digital, e-commerce, Web3, all those different things can get them into the S&P, and then just tons of buying power. Think about all the money that's sunk into the S&P 500 each year. All these massive funds just have to buy GameStop then by association of the fact it's in the S&P 500. So that would be very, very exciting to see. And if it could happen within a couple of years, I think we could see some very, very spicy price action, especially with, a lot of different things going on out there. If I was to think of it now, it's not even just about the short interest. It's all these different things that the company's moving towards and focusing on, and just focusing on the fundamentals of the company. And any underlying short interest, it'll bubble up over time. A move to the S&P 500 will absolutely make short interest bubble up. Tesla's a great example of that. And I think what happened with Tesla could happen on a much, much more grander scale. I'm not saying it'll happen the exact same way for GameStop. So that's just what I see in the long term. Hey, buddy, checking in. Jay, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Much appreciated. Jackson's, yes, S&P 500 would be super bullish. That's a fact. What was I going to show you guys next? Yeah, this bozo, I was clowning around with him before. George East. I don't know. He just comes on my tweet. I mean, this guy, look, he replies to I doubt that's actually him. It looks like some sus account. All in KMB. And he only really started tweeting a few days ago. But also a very boastful thing. Everything I say is financial advice. Ooh, I should go sue him. But I don't know. He just came on my tweet for no reason. Totally legit. Can never assume with idiocracy. For the record, George, I'm extremely bullish. I don't know. I just started trolling him. Just for fun, not sure what you mean. But I was I'll just ask him about his stock. Why is he obsessed with KMB? That's so fucking random. Kimberly and Clark, what's so bullish about that? It seems like a decently well-run company from what I very simply know about it. And if you just look at its stock price over the long term and the fact they just have a bunch of different brands underneath it, it's one of those big companies, kind of like Procter & Gamble type of deal. I mean, I don't know that much about him, but the point is, what is this guy so obsessed about that? Then he just called it cockroaches and have no businesses being here, investing, and mean conspiracy theories. Saying you are financially literate would be a massive understatement. I just never understood why an individual like this gets so aggressive and cares so much. Why? And the counter argument is always, oh, well, there's tons of GameStop investors out there, right? That get so mad about people that hold both or hold AMC. It's not that, and I will speak for myself as an individual. It's not that I want to get mad at AMC investors or like I just want to like start like I don't start pointing fingers like this. It's more so like, hey, your stock is being diluted and it's being associated with GameStop and you're just thinking it's the same play, but it's really not. There's things you're not understanding. That to me is totally different than like a response like this, where this is just like, rah, investing based on memes, cockroaches. Like, listen, George Estes, calm down, buddy. Just calm down. It's all going to be all right. I just like GameStop. I hope you're here on the stream right now. That'd be hilarious. Yo, John Jar Banks, thank you for being here. Ahari, thank you for being here. Ryan, thank you for being here. Only risk I can think of is retail selling, which takes too long for their standards. Yeah, I mean, it just seems like so many individuals like the stock. Seeing DRS number coming up is going to be very, very exciting. What we'll see exactly, who knows? I think it'll be definitely an increase quarter over quarter. And I'm also just looking for like cash flows. How did Q4 go? Whoop. Uh-oh, got unplugged here. Too much plugged in. But basically, yeah, there's a lot to figure out with Q4. And that's a perfect segue, I would say, into this note I made today, where I feel like there's a lot to discuss in terms of, like, what I want to say is the earnings coming up, I think, are really important. Earnings are always important, but I think these coming up throughout the next 4 quarters or so, 5 quarters, including Q4 of 2022, is very crucial because of this like little brainstorm I made here. I'm going to check chat and then I'll kind of walk you through my thought process here. This was completely just off the dome today. I was thinking about some stuff. I'm like, let me just write as I'm thinking. What's up? Yo, like the stock, one day closer to earnings. That's facts, Jackson's. We don't know exactly when yet, but I'm sure we'll find out soon. Don't worry, guys. He's got GameStop batteries. John Jar Banks, you know what's up. You know I got them GameStop batteries. Where are they at? No, I actually cleaned up down here a little bit, so I actually put them away. So I don't have them like right next to me this time, but you know what's up. John Jar, XBit, thank you for being here. All right, so I wanted to make this into visual in some way. That's why I put this little note here. So I think 2023 is a pivotal year for GameStop. So this is kind of my thought process. 2021 was Ryan Cohen coming in, or sorry, he started buying in 2020, right? Late 2020, that is. 2021 is where he came in. He's like, I'm going to be chairman of the board. We're getting rid of all these other board members. We're refreshing everything, new executives. We're going to start compensating executives here and higher level individuals in shares. He made all those different changes, pays off all the old debt, thinks about the future for the business, starts planning for it. 2022, then I saw a time period of building. You know, the e-commerce was really built out in terms of the 2 large distribution centers were fully operational in 2022. Now they continue to be in 2023, where they're also closing down the Kentucky one, which is actually, you know, relatively close to the York, Pennsylvania one. So now they have one on the West Coast generally, one on the East Coast generally for e-commerce. So they've kind of worked on that. They developed the NFT marketplace. They developed the GameStop wallet. So now they have that underlying infrastructure to build on Web3, to build their brand name into Web3, which I just think is really exciting because this has been like a long time coming. It goes around, oh, the turnaround. But in my eyes, that's what was happening in 21, 22. So 21, old debts paid off, plans for the future, refresh the board, start paying individuals, understand compensation packages to incentivize people to like see the future that they can kind of all create together as individuals working at GameStop. Then 2022 is, you know, actually building those upon those plans. And now I see 2023 as a time period where it's important to focus on profitability and execution. The underlying infrastructure is there for Web3 now. You have the e-commerce set up, close any unprofitable stores, stick with the stores that are working, you know, have good foot traffic, etc. Keep an eye on all that. But at the same time, make sure e-commerce is as strong as possible. And then Web3, build on that. And that's where we're seeing the game with Buck Bunny, which is a simple in-browser game built by GameStop. But I think that's really just the beginning here. So I think we'll see a lot more partnerships and games onboarded onto Web3. And a lot of it will be with the assistance of GameStop. And if GameStop creates more games themselves, I think that's very exciting. And that leads me to my next point here, where if you open this link, Curaverse today, a new popular game on the marketplace that I actually want to check out where you can own your digital assets. I actually saw another tweet today of somebody that said they literally made or got $50 sent to them in US dollar coin from Curaverse for coming like top of a tournament or something like that. I think that's very exciting. So they partnered with Loud GG today. And damn, guys, second stream in a row I did this. You're not going to believe this. I just realized. Not even plugged in. Not even plugged in. Isn't that crazy? I was using all these crappy headsets back then. And ironically, the best audio was always this freaking laptop itself. But I have an actual headset, so I'm going to use it.
Hey yo, Anthony. Hey, Ant Man. Check it out, Ant Man. I heard this is just something I heard.
All right, give me 1 second.
Hey yo, Anthony. Hey, Ant Man. Check it out, Ant Man. I heard this is just something I heard.
Test. Are we rolling now? Neutron. That's good. Still no. Oh. Are we rolling now? Okay, I think I have too many things. I'm confusing myself very much tonight, guys. It has been quite the week. Like, let me tell you. Oh my gosh. You know, whenever you're thinking like, oh, like people on YouTube that do this and that, or like so special. Like, just know I'm like everybody else out here. You know, like I feel like I'm so overwhelmed lately. It's crazy. Like I feel like I'm bugging on my stream, but we're chilling. We are live. We are good. Or at least I think. This dude, tell me your paper hand, but don't tell me your paper hand. Justin, you're catching me at a bad moment. I'll be honest with you. But thank you for being here anyway. I'll get back into what I was saying. Are we echoing though? That's an important thing. So special. Just know I'm like everybody else. But, oh my goodness. All right, to recap what I was saying, I went on a couple different tangents there. I was watching Morant's video talking about ants, because Morant's versus ants. Hilarious how their names are. Because it's funny you said before about the 140 million per share, and how you're saying, oh yeah, AMC's going 140 a share like next week and stuff and this and that. But it's the unfortunate truth that AMC is just heavily diluting. And now I see whoever was their underlying writer like literally bought puts on Ape. All the executives are selling Ape. It's honestly a total disaster over there. Like, it's just very unfortunate to see. And I just feel like it's going to result in a lot of people getting burned. And Justin, I do wish you the best, but honestly, I'm just not bullish on AMC. It's as simple as that. Only GME. But all right, we're in better shape now. So what I was also going to say before, and I didn't, if you heard Morant's, I don't know if anyone thought like, oh, he's about to pop in here, but no, that was just, I was trying to make an example of like how he's doing a great job of calling out clowns like ants that are like, oh yeah, it's going to the AMC, it's going to this price and this and that, and like all these people are viewing it, and it's just crazy because he's just drawing lines on a screen and talking nonsense. But to get back to like real like knowledge and like fundamentals revolving GameStop, something I think is really big today, and I've been kind of touching on, LoudGG, one of the biggest esports organizations in the world. Not only is the Loud the first esports organization to reach 1 billion YouTube views, they're most engaged team on Twitter all 2022. Most of them most watched talent in the world. So what this is an e-commerce esports platform, which I am going to click on and I want to look into it more. Here's some stats here. But basically, Curiverse, is now a Web3 game that's going to be partnering with an esports entity. And I think that's really exciting. And I have to learn esports more, but I've been long saying or speculating that GameStop would get involved in esports in some way. So no, this isn't GameStop specifically, but it's a game that's built directly on GameStop's NFT marketplace, in the sense that the digital assets in this game are going to be able to be transacted on GameStop's NFT marketplace. So I think that's really exciting. But here we go. Sup, y'all? 420. And I have to. Okay. I keep getting nervous now. The audio ain't working. But I really appreciate all of you guys sticking with me. Even though like I'm literally always gooning with like the freaking audio and like, life. But here we are. But I thought this was a pretty funny meme actually. But I definitely got to try Curiverse. But I really have to get a desktop. Truth is, guys, like eventually I'm gonna move. So when I get moved. Crazy, guys. The tech issues. Oh my goodness. My PC is literally churning volume. That funny. But what a time to be alive. And you gotta wonder, how long will this go on with AMC? I mean, they just keep diluting. So at what point would something like massively change? Like, I mean, I don't know. It's an interesting saga to watch. But I always wonder at the end of the day how or why all these stocks have to move like relatively together, and why they have to be pushed so hard, and so many questions to be answered. A very good question to be answered is, why are institutions buying GameStop right now? Institutional ownership is increasing massively as of late. I think Quiver Finance, Quiver Quant, including Point72, and I actually have a great story in regards to that I'll say actually right now. So, and then I know it's literally a trust me bro story, but I have two stories about GameStop relative to my job, or individuals I've met at my job. Two separate individuals. First individual I met, he works for another company in my building, But a friend of mine, when I started working there, I started becoming friends with him. He's like, yeah, I actually know some guy he also works in this building and he's invested in GameStop. But I said, no way. And I introduced him to me. Like, he introduced us, and like we literally hit it off all the time. Every time we see each other, like in the hall at work, or we pass each other, or even just like see each other in the bathroom, we're like, yo, bullish indicator. And then GameStop's about to rally soon because we just saw each other. Because we like very rarely cross paths. So just like here and there, it could be like months at a time without seeing this guy. But like after one time, like in the beginning, we crossed paths. Like the next time we saw each other, like shortly after, we're like, yo, GameStop went up since we saw each other so much. So we're like, oh, it's a bullish indicator. So it's mad funny there. But the Trust Me Bro story is about 0.72. So somebody I know, somebody who works with somebody else that I work with, essentially, I talked to him and he told me that he was at 0.72 at the time of January of 2021. And that day when the buy button was turned off, where everything was really getting like a lot of commotion, because, you know, Steve Cohen was not happy. Like, I mean, he literally tweeted, trading's a tough game, don't you think? But essentially, there was a company-wide meeting that day at 0.72 about the GameStop situation. And I guess, like, don't talk to media, or like, I don't know what the meeting exactly was. I mean, he said it was just kind of like him getting mad. Like, that's what he said. It wasn't like, and also the guy I was talking to had a role in, I mean, I don't want to give too much away just in case somehow, some way. But basically it wasn't like a direct finance role. So he's like, yeah, I don't really, he was like, I was just like him getting angry and just kind of ranting on. And I was like, that's pretty funny though. And he's like, yeah, I always thought that was like kind of crazy how big that was at that time. But that's my Trust Me Bro story. And it's just interesting now that 0.72 is buying shares of GameStop again. I think that's very, very spicy. And just overall institutional ownership. But that's what I wanted to check here. I feel like this website was good. But literally got to check his audio.
He was like, I was just like him getting.
Okay. Literally so nervous with the audio now. Whale activity. Okay. Followers of the company's Twitter. It's pretty funny. It seems like it's going up over time. No government contracts. Mention of Wall Street bets. Okay, that's not what I want though. I'm looking for Quiver Quant Institutional Ownership GME. I feel like the only reason I feel like if I remember correctly, it was very clean on here. That's the only reason I'm using this website specifically. I guess it's only dollars. But I guess we could do Fintel. That's really interesting. I don't know, that's, yeah. The put to call, just like, there's like all of a sudden not that many options for him. I don't fully understand how to read this, but like, how is there so many options and now there's just none? That's very odd. All right, so yeah, okay, it's sorted by date. So yeah, there's a lot of filings coming in as of late. It is filing season, so it makes sense. 15th all today. Calls, puts, okay, dumping. Is this here? Gene Street, they have pretty significant. Dumped 11%. It's Terra. Susquehanna. Slight decrease. Alright, we're back. Algo froze on Susquehanna, super sus. You're right, XFit. I think my stream is being attacked. I'm being DDoSed. No, I'm just kidding. I'm thinking of running. Okay, yeah, we're running. We're chilling. But yeah, no, all I was doing is going through all this and just kind of just looking at some of it. You know, like what I was saying is I'm looking for a cleaner format to like read this and just kind of take better note of it or just go through it. So if anyone has any better sources where this is better presented, I thought Quiver Quant was a little better, but maybe it's a different page. I don't remember exactly where I saw it. But of course, you know, the good old Citadel. Let's see. See, this is interesting. Decreasing puts by 27%, slight increase in calls, but 400% increase in shares. And that's not even that many shares, though, right? I mean, relatively to the calls. So you have to wonder, though, as a market maker, why do you have to buy all those shares and just dump a bunch of puts? I mean, yes, they're selling them as well, and like it's the report. The whole thing is too for me is that like reporting is just the standards to it are just so strange. Like it's so difficult to understand or like clearly come up with, in my opinion at least, solid conclusions through reading the data because it's reported in just such a complex way, and just the data systems, just to even get access to it and like really decipher it, you have to be like, I feel like a super genius, like to like know how to pull the data from the right places, compile it in the right way, and etc. So I feel like it's very difficult. Like I can read this stuff right now, right? I can tell you, okay, well, this company just bought a bunch of shares and this company just bought a bunch of puts, and I can like look at the actual filing. Oh well, I guess not here, but damn, going away now. But for example, Wells Fargo. But I can't like simply see this data anywhere like to be easily combed through, if that makes sense. Like I wish there was. I guess that's kind of what like Dave is doing with the Irvin Terminal in a sense, where it's kind of like supposed to present data in a better way, but it's so difficult from how it's reported and like all the sources it's pulled from. So there's just so much to read and try and understand. And like that post is going through in the last stream on Monday about how somebody did the math. That must have took them hours and hours and hours because it's so difficult to like comb through everything and how, well, there's shares in this ETF, but they're all owned by this entity, but they're being loaned out to this person. Like it's so much like funky stuff going on in the reporting, because then I think also, and I'm gonna get to chat in a second, how is GameStop's, like if I go to their institutional ownership, like and see another company that all of a sudden bought shares again recently, Wells Fargo. See, this I guess is pretty good. If I do this on every company, how many shares do they individually hold over time? But all I'm saying here is I think it's just very difficult to make sense of the data because of the nature of reporting and just how everything goes. And then my thought process becomes like, if all these institutions are increasing share ownership like 300-400%, like we had already seen it with BlackRock and Vanguard, like massive share increases, all of them, right? Why is there no like price action to reflect it? And where are they getting all these shares from? Like so many questions to be answered. Why is the institutional ownership flooding in now? Like what other factor, like how many shares are DRS? We'll find out next quarter. There seems like there's so much like shifting right now, and that would make you think like, excuse me, like there's still like strong price action, but I feel like there'd be very dramatic price action considering all the things we're talking about. And very simply, there's just not. So I just feel like that's just odd to say the least. So I don't know. But let's check here. What's up, y'all? Thoughts on SPY? I think SPY could honestly continue to roll as of late. I mean, it seems like there's no stopping it right now. Let's pull it up. But I kind of maintain the stance of bearish for like a little while now, where it just seems like things have to get worse before they get better. But when you look at the fact like interest rates are rising, I mean, if people haven't pulled out of the market to put money into interest rates at this point, I mean, I don't know. We're in an interesting spot where there's still so much just liquidity out there and just money. So it seems like if we're in the dollar milkshake theory kind of concept, where it's like the Fed will keep raising rates, and inevitably that would kind of like force them to keep firing up the money printer, kind of like the situation's going on in Japan. I don't know if anyone's been following that, where they're kind of back and forth with like trying to control things. They're like doing quantitative easing and quantitative tightening like at the same time. Like they're kind of like cross-firing because they're caught in a pickle. And it kind of seems like that's what the US dollar is going towards. So it's like if interest rates keep rising, but then we start like printing, I mean, and take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt. I still wrap my head around all this stuff. I still have to continue to research this. Check out Peruvian Bull. He puts out a lot of good stuff on this, on Reddit, on Twitter. He puts good information. Other people have the dollar milkshake theory as well. But I'm just saying, like, maybe that's what can kind of just keep the market, like, just pushing up so much for so long. Just because there's been so much currency created over time. I feel like it has to go somewhere. Because I used to always think, well, look at the markets, in this time period. Like, look how that much we've got up now. Maybe we're in for like a really, really big crash, a really, really bad crash. That's what I started to think. But then I thought, well, all this money has been pumped out there and it's still out there. So it has to go somewhere, right? And if we're in a dollar milkshake situation, it's going to have to keep flowing different places, such as the stock market. So I don't know. Bunch of random thoughts there. I'll go froze on Susquehanna. What about alt? What is SPY? After looking it up, brings up S&P 500. Yes, yeah, that's S&P 500. All I want for Christmas is bear season. GameStoppington City, Dr. Penguin's office. Appreciate you being here. It is GameStoppington City. You know the vibes. Fibington. And to award the dumbest question goes yeah, but that's my thoughts on SPY. I don't know that much about the macro. I keep trying to study it and just understand it better over time. But the main thing I've been focusing on lately is, I would say, just knowledge of where my money is and like what I'm doing. So I've really been trying to focus on just paying down my student debt and just like understand like gotta manage your finances better, and it's just a good thing for the long run. And I've kind of said in the past where I feel like GameStop has really taught me that, but I feel like I'm also learning right now, just because of everything getting more expensive and various different reasons, just getting older, honestly, that like you really have to budget yourself and just organize yourself better. So like I really want to keep putting a lot of work in the channel, and like don't get me wrong, I'm not here to say I'm about to stop or something, but the reason like I feel like I'm making as many videos because I definitely want to keep making videos as well, besides just doing live streams. But the live streams are at least keeping me rolling right now on a consistent schedule of some kind. But what I'm trying to say is I'm trying to just organize a lot of different stuff in my life, because I feel like I'm like right there, take things to the next level, where like I'm in pretty good shape for someone my age. I just have to like get myself like organized. And I feel like if I can like get organized, you know, get a route like moved out, a nice setup, all that different stuff, then I'll be able to really like excel, because I'll have kind of like how GameStop built the NFT marketplace and the wallet and the infrastructure for e-commerce. I'm kind of trying to do that for myself in my own weird way, where I'm trying to like get everything for myself organized so I can build up and have that underlying like infrastructure, so to speak. So like that's why I'm trying to like build Discord right now, organize myself, you know, just trying to be active on Twitter, just grow a Tetron name, this and that. But it's kind of some of my thoughts right now. But I just feel like burnt out, but it feels like dumb to say that, because it's like, how can you be burnt out? Like you're only like 22, you know, and it's just so easy to like get caught up in so much in this noise in this world. But all right, now I'm just ranting. I'm gonna check chat. Trying to hit singles and doubles in the stock market, not home runs. Had a good day today. It's good, Jackson. I'm happy for you. A lot of people think S&P 500 is going to squeeze. Justin, yeah, I think XFit's right. I don't think anybody thinks that. Yeah, S&P 500 is just top 500 companies in America. It's pretty much the best way to put it. And there's obviously standards that have to be in there. But it's definitely a lot of taking sometimes. No sweats, dude. Ryan, appreciate you, man. Thank you. But yeah, no, that's why, I don't know, like I feel like there's so much to, I don't know what the word is, like reveal, like, or to be revealed. Like I see a lot more information coming out for GameStop, and I feel like we're going to start hearing stuff soon. I know they've been very quiet, but you have to think sooner than later, we're going to hear something in regards to G-America. We're going to see them coming out with games, get involved in something else, make an acquisition. Something big will happen. And what I'm trying to say here is I want to be ready to roll. So when these big things start happening and GameStop really starts taking things to the next level, as I believe they will, and you probably believe they will too, I want to make sure I'm in the right place. So like, well, I guess what I'm trying to say is bear with me if I'm not going all in on the channel right now. I'm in no way disregarding the channel, but I'm trying to get everything set up so that when the time is right, could really just focus on the channel and just push it to that absolute next level and just like make Tetron something epic. But I don't know, just some of my recent thoughts. But yeah, I already kind of went over all this, I think. These were the stories. Otherwise, there are definitely a lot to take in. It's being pumped. Could G-America be a nothing burger? I thought that. Actually, I literally just thought that the other day, Ryan. It's funny you say that. But then I remember they filed trademarks in several different countries, so there has to be something there. I really don't think it's a nothing burger. they filed trademarks and it's been speculated on for a long time. But it just makes me think it's going to take a long time, whatever it is. But I do think there's something there. I just think it's a matter of time. Let's see. Confused why everyone's talking about S&P 500 thing is the ticker symbol SPY. I really hope a surprise of some kind happens to GME earnings. Me too, Jacksons. I think any kind of surprise is always nice, right? Or just anything in terms of an update of what the company's doing and relative to their earnings, just how they're operating business. I think that's very exciting. So I would definitely look forward to any surprise and I'd embrace it. But at the same time, it's always nice to just expect nothing. And if nothing happens, like, okay. If you expect nothing, something happens, you're like, damn, all right. Thoughts on Gary V's new release of VFriends NFT of Burn Island as a location to burn NFTs for bigger rewards? No, I haven't seen that. I'll have to take a look into that, John. Appreciate you bringing it to my attention, though. I like to keep up with Gary V to see what he's talking about in the Web3 and the NFTs. I mean, I think if him doing something directly with GameStop would be very powerful just because he's got a big name out there, especially involved in Web3. Everybody always talks about SPY because it's the market. That is true, XBit. Bias uncertainty zone, in my opinion. Lots of greed with underlying fear. That's a very good point, Ryan. And honestly, that's why I just buy S&P consistently in my 401k, which is relatively, small because I literally just started my job and just started a real career where I'm investing in that. So I'm just putting a little bit every check, so I don't even think about it because I just think about long term. Like that's something I'm not even going to touch for like literally decades. So for me with SPY, I could care less. I more so just kind of obviously watch it. Like I do care, don't get me wrong, and it definitely means stuff. I'm not saying it's irrelevant or something, but I always just focus like on GameStop and eventually, other individual stocks and just consistently buying the SPY. I feel like is always the best move. But if you're trading it, it's always interesting to look at and just kind of tells you the relative market as a whole. Confidentiality is intriguing. Yes, Icon has the mojo. Yep, long term, no questions. This is the way. Yeah, the long term mentality is really the way to go because think about like how many names we've seen come and go over time. GNS was the next big play, the next big squeeze. Then you had, of course, there's AMC. Talked about one a gazillion times. We've had Bed Bath. We've had this one down here, Hellbiz, HKD, which. Yeah, the retail traders, and don't forget that Loop Capital was an underwriter in this. Like this stock that nobody's heard. It's so bizarre how this is allowed to happen, and the fact the SEC does nothing about this and like this just consistently happens is just bonkers to me, and just tells me how crazy this. Like it's funny how everybody says like, oh, conspiracy theories about GameStop and this and that, naked shorting. It's like. When you look at something like this, tell me what the fuck is going on here if there's no suspicious stuff going on in the market in some way or another. And, I just maintain the standpoint of, and like, look at this, look at its 52-week low, trash. And look at its 52-week high, crazy. Imagine buying in the thousands on this random ass name. But I just maintain the standpoint of, you focus on the fundamentals of GameStop. And clearly, institutions are buying shares right now. Yes, they might just be lending them out, but you wouldn't lend out shares on a company you thought was going to go bankrupt, right? So even they know it's not going to go bankrupt. So the whole narrative of, it's going to go bankrupt is just hilarious. And then these other companies literally could go bankrupt. I don't know shit about this company, but I mean, it seems like it could very easily go bankrupt because it's just some like sus name. Like, how do you even know the reporting's proper? But point is, if anybody tries to like push the idea that like there's something suspicious going on with GameStop still to this day, it's like, no, that couldn't be. It's like the average person or the SEC, right? Type of individual that believes in that. But then you point at something like this, like, oh, yeah, no, this was the meme traders again, back at it. It's like, really? You think this was meme traders? Get out of here. Like, and the psychology, I'll show you a psychology thing. This guy, Chan, the one that got famous for putting a Market Watch sucks Donkey Dong, and then they put his, like, tweet in the article, and it said his like current name, which was Market Watch sucks Donkey Kong or Donkey Kong. I'm butchering the wording, but it's hilarious. But Clove was another one. That's what I was gonna pull it up because they're like, oh, look at that guy Chamath. It's the next big thing. Clover Health. Look at this trash. Like, it was in here. It's a pump in here. It pumped at some point, I think. Maybe this isn't a great example, but Wish was even, like, remember there was, like, Wall Street Bets trending, like, oh, I wish this or wish that or something. No, maybe it was, January 2021. Would you look at that? No, not Fubo. BBIG, remember that one? Yep. See, and it's funny if you look at all these different stocks. I think Ader was another one. All of these different names, they also happen to pump at time periods where GameStop is having positive price action for like some period of time. So you just have to wonder. I'm always just, bringing up ideas. And again, focus on fundamentals. Literally none of this matters, right? And you just look at these other names and you're just like, why are they pushed so hard? Who cares? I just like the stock because I like what GameStop's doing. But, it's just fun to look around and see these other things going on and just go, well, I see things and I just invest in what I like. And that's just like the standpoint I have these days, where I just really believe in what GameStop's doing. And it sounds repetitive and I keep talking a lot about shareholder value, but that's what I want. And as a shareholder in the long term, I'm just going to hold till I see them delivering shareholder value. And I truly believe that's what Ryan Cohen and the rest of the executives' intentions are, considering they themselves are massive shareholders. And just the saga itself and all the individuals that, you're probably here right now passionate about GameStop. I myself am passionate about GameStop. I just love this saga. And to be able to live stream about it is just like awesome. It's just awesome. But thank you all for being here. Marant's in the house. What up, Marant? Thank you for being here. Appreciate you, man. I was giving you a shout before about your video about ants today. That was pretty funny because he's oh yeah, 140, that guy. That's funny. But Challenger, thank you for being here. Jackson's, thank you for being here. Danzo, what up? Run it back. You know the vibes, Danzo. Run back the streams. It's the vibes. Debt-free companies can't go bankrupt. That's a fact, Ryan. That is a fact. Monster Buddy, thank you for being here. There's some nice stickers you got there. Yeah, right? But exactly. It's like all of them. Like Mullen, I think there was another push. All right, we're back. Let's go. But what are the other names? There's a lot of other ones that have come and gone. But I don't know. Regardless, they also happen to be during a time period of GameStop having an upward price cycle. And I mean, even without that, it's just narratives being pushed so hard where it's like GameStop, individuals just like the stock. It really is as simple as that. And one quick thing I want to touch on is Fidelity now allows you to DRS with their virtual assistant. So previously you could call in, then they added it where you could do their like live chat thing where you can chat with like a representative, but like only during business hours. Now you can actually initiate a DRS transfer with their automated chat bot, meaning you don't even have to talk to a person typing. You can literally just like do a click back and forth thing with a bot. Forgot exactly where it is, but I'll see if I can pull it up as for example's sake without being logged in. But it's nice that they're making it nice and simple, because I consistently DRS from Fidelity whenever I buy GameStop, so I like that. Yeah, I don't know exactly where it is right now, but I just want to bring that up to you guys. Let's see. Was there ever a conclusion to the 741 theory? No, I would say not, Ryan. I would say it's pretty open-ended, but that's what kind of makes it fun in my opinion, because it's like nobody truly knows what 741 is, and it's been so many different instances where it's popped up, so you have to wonder, truly, is there one single meaning? I don't know, but I think it's very exciting that it's always popped up. Like, it's just kind of always fun to theorize on. But I guess the short answer would be no. There really is no anything that ever came out of it. But in a way, yes, because there's been so many different theories that have come out of it in a fun way. Can't wait for earnings and new DRS numbers. That's a fact, Eric. I really want to see DRS more than anything, but I absolutely want to see earnings as well and just see if the company has any commentary of like what they're thinking in terms of 2023. But again, I like that silence is their friend, so I don't want them to be too boastful about anything. Like, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Not that I think they would just suddenly change tone like that, but I just think some, hey, this is something we have our focus on in 2023. Maybe they say esports, for example, right? I know it's kind of an example or point I keep bringing up. And considering Kiraverse just did it, maybe they touch on it in some way. Oh, GameStop will have their own. They'll be partnered with an esports team. They'll have their own esports team. That's something we're looking to build in 2023. And hearing something about that, I think would be pretty encouraging. And if it was esports, for example, they're like, oh, we're going to go create our own esports team. But, I mean, I don't know if that's such a broad thing to do, right? I don't know that much about esports also. But for example, right, just very simple example's sake, if they were to go about that, then, an individual such as myself that's invested in GameStop and talks about GameStop, I'll probably hop on a live stream here, right? And then we're going to go look, okay, like esports growth potential. Like, and then I'll just start researching about like esports and like, or I'll put like esports and Web3 and just see what comes up and just start like digging into it and see, okay, well, what does GameStop have, and like what do they see potentially? Like if I start researching myself, maybe I can see why they would see it as an opportunity. However, this person does not think so, but this one says it can reach mainstream adoption. See what Google says. Web3 gaming is a process of decentralized gaming with activities of a gaming ecosystem or gaming platform, specifically that of the ownership of gaming assets and decision-making in all aspects of gaming, are delegated away from any central authority. I think that's a pretty good way to explain it. How do Web3 games make money? Most of these Web3 games employ a play-to-earn economic design where players are rewarded for their time, efforts, and in-game accomplishments. Which I read a very good point about this one time, which I thought was kind of interesting, that if a game is doing, Web3, it's connected to a wallet, and it's paying out in US dollar coin, for example, an individual in a foreign country where their currency relative to the US dollar, like the US dollar might be worth a ton if they were to convert it to their currency. Like basically they could be what might seem like a dollar to me or you in the US might be like multiple lunches for somebody, for example, in another country. I don't know. So the idea that maybe they could just have a computer and play a game and potentially earn, I'm not saying that that's going to be a living even in that scenario, right? But just the fact they could earn more by earning potentially in US dollar than converting it, or, even if they're earning Ethereum, if it's still the same amount if it's still $1 of Ethereum, it's still that many dollars of said local currency, if that makes sense. So that's kind of something I always thought about there. How many Web3 games are there? 47. Okay, I don't know where they got that number. Web3 is the hypothetical next generation version of the World Wide Web that is decentralized and distributed through the use of blockchain and similar technologies. Honestly, one quick thing I'll say is I think governments are scared of Web3 and some aspects of cryptocurrency. And I think, they talk a lot about like, oh, the ban Bitcoin or this or that with cryptos. But I think the underlying thing is the decentralization, the lack of control, right? It's hard to control people when you can't control their money, and that's, central digital currency. I don't want to get into all that too much. But I think the scariest part about cryptocurrency is not the coins themselves. It's the blockchain technology and the power it has. And I would think, governments around the world probably want to have those blockchain capabilities implemented, not completely decentralized. So, but I don't know. There's a long way to go with it. It's going to be very interesting to see how things play out in terms of regulation and just the cryptocurrency world as a whole and Web3 coming together. And yeah, I think, digital assets are absolutely here to stay. So how will it be regulated? What will be regulated? When will it be regulated? So many questions to be answered. But GameStop's just focusing on the gaming side of things. And I think if you are focusing on the main aspects, all those different things, the company will just have to continue to adapt over time. And for example, Apple having like a dictatorship over, 30% of revenue from anything somebody does like within an app. I think that's why GameStop can't have the NFT marketplace as an app, because they'd be selling an in-game product or in-app product. So Apple would charge 30% on top of any NFTs bought on there, which is just nuts. So yeah, we'll see kind of how that shakes up over time if there's some kind of ruling against that. Because then if GameStop could have the NFT marketplace on the App Store, I think that'd be very exciting. But I don't know. We'll have to see in terms of regulation. It's going to go way beyond that. But also, social media companies, they have a lot of controls. So we'll see if that plays into things one way or another. But now we're going on a little bit of a bunch of different tangents. But definitely want to research this more. I feel like I should add this to my little sticky here. Oh, that sounded a little weird, but chat. Oh, it's popping. Let's see. Divvy split. 1 into 4 into 7 could be XBit. I thought about that too. If it's 4-for-1 split and now 3-for-1, because the company can do that still. They can have up to 1 billion shares outstanding per the last vote that was authorized. Tetron, what's your opinion on Icon and Ryan Cohen as chairman of GameStop meeting? Think there's a long-term plan for GameStop to expand the brand and become large enough to absorb others? XBit, I like that. I think there's definitely a possibility for that monster. In terms of Icon, I feel like he probably is not involved in GameStop in any way. I think his filing came out. Someone informed me that there's nothing with GameStop unless it's something underlying, a position we can't see. And so we're back on. I'm in 2 live streams at once. You have double Tetron going on right now. This is crazy. Right? I think if this one starts working right here. We're about to find out. Yo, 2 lives. Yo, you know what's up, XFit. Let's see. I don't know if the other one's working, though. That is the question. I love how I always get like the hockey highlights. I love hockey. Rats, big homie. Check them out if you guys can see this right now. Current live streams. This is hilarious. I have 2 live streams at once. Yeah, Danzo. I don't know what happened. My Wi-Fi literally just went out, so I don't even know if this is working. Oh, okay. So the other one is working. All right. So you guys should switch back to the OG first live stream from tonight. It's back up and running. See you there. All right. Here we are. We are rocking. We are rolling. This is the one to be in, XFit. This is the one to be in. We're rolling. I don't know what happened. I literally don't know what happened. My Wi-Fi was just being dumb. They said like connected, but no internet, and I don't know. But here we are now. Internet's rolling. Can't stop, won't stop. You know it, Meagle. You know the vibes. But yeah, why is Bitcoin running up so much today? I'm definitely curious. Tetron, DDoS, yeah, by Kenny, maybe. Or Icon, or maybe because I was talking about 0.72. What is the deal with Bitcoin? Why is it? It's opening a Bitcoin embassy in Texas in a bid to promote more acceptance of crypto. It's kind of interesting. I want to read about it. I give El Salvador a lot of credit for what they're trying to do. I mean, think what you want of it, but to make a currency, like a country's official currency, Bitcoin, like give it to all your citizens, like, I mean, for like what they have, like it's such a small country, and it seems like it's, I mean, I don't know that much about it. It seems like they don't have that much wealth or haven't really ever been able to like establish themselves. So like this seems like a great opportunity for them, because if they're right, they're going to be geniuses and like they're really pushing for it. So they're going to like really succeed, and it's going to significantly help the country develop. So that'd be kind of really cool to see. If it doesn't work out though, I mean, I hope nobody suffers from it in any way. And I feel like it's one of those where it's like, I don't know, if it's a country that, you know, that's El Salvador, not like booming economy. So like it's a great opportunity for them. So I think it's cool to just kind of watch it happen in real time. But they're opening a Bitcoin embassy in the U.S. to push for wider adoption. El Salvador, first country to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender, said the office will be based in Texas, already embarked on the embassy idea of reaching a deal with Switzerland last year. Interesting. The state of Texas, our new ally. El Salvador's ambassador to the United States said in a tweet Tuesday there were nearly 376,000 followers. Texas, part of our relationship between... Embarked on the MC idea reaching... Oh. Noted the country logged more than 1.2 trillion in commercial exchange in 2022. Push for Bitcoin adoption. Purchased 2,381 Bitcoins. Oof. That's pretty rough. If they only have a value of 55 million, the average price right now is 105 million. But, you know, it's all about the long term, so. And also, Business Insider is like a terrible source, so read this with a grain of salt. Should make it easier for Ali to launder his drug money. Nice. Let's see. How's the Loopring been doing? I've almost never checked Loopring. I hold Loopring, but I don't even think about it. It's just one of those, we'll just see what happens with it in the long run. And also, if I lost all my loop ring, like I could sleep fine tonight. I mean, obviously, I don't ever want to just lose money, lose anything, any asset of mine. But my point is, like, size of my position is like, it's only worth something if it blows up. Let me put it to you that way. But yeah, I'm just happy the stream's back up and running. It's pretty crazy. This has been going on. Pretty crazy. I may be the last person to stand up for GME actions. Damn. This is an intense conversation. Alright, I'll leave that between Lightning and Dave. But GameStop battery. Oh, we said the batteries before they're on clearance. Let's go. I'm gonna go pick them up. Drop a link. And I think batteries is such a fun thing to buy from GameStop because it's like, I don't know, it's just literally an item that everybody needs, and it's the GameStop brand. It's just another way to support the brand, right? Support the company. So that's always fun. But it's institutional ownership. Does anybody have any ideas of how we can compile this in a way to be much more manageable, right? But one thing we could look at, for example, is find BlackRock. See, look at this significant increase. Let's see their shares over time, year after year. Okay, so they didn't really even change their position, or okay, whatever. There's not much data down here, but their change in percentage of shares increase in 2018, increase, decrease heavily in 2021, slight increase in 2022, and then massive increase in 2023. Oh, again, so tired. My bad, guys. But massive increase right here. And on a visual scale, this is actually the most shares that BlackRock has ever held. And when then you look at, let's see, Vanguard. But it's interesting, you have to wonder, like, why didn't Maverick Capital just dump all these? And you see Susquehanna dumped a bunch, but Susquehanna has tons of options, so you have to keep that in mind. Whereas, you know, Vanguard and BlackRock are two of the like largest funds in the world. They literally own freaking like everything. What is this? But basically, Vanguard and BlackRock own like everything. Susquehanna, Citadel, Virtue, etc., and are market makers, so they own like mostly tons of options on their books, and that's where you get a lot of the like, you see like securities sold but not yet purchased, things like that. I think that comes from like a lot of just market makers, like responsibilities, capabilities, whatever you technically call it, right? No, not RC Ventures. I want to see Vanguard. Yeah, see, by far the most for Vanguard. I think that's very interesting because, like I said, these two funds pretty much own just so much of everything. It's crazy. And if they own a ton, you'd have to think they believe in the asset underlying, even though they're doing it mostly for the high yield they're getting in loaning out the shares to short sellers. But they wouldn't just buy a stock for the purpose of only loaning it out if they thought the underlying stock was going to go bankrupt, right? Which obviously GameStop is not. We've already been over this. So I just think it's interesting that, you know, you also see that the ownership was reported to be bought in 2022, but then only a slight increase going into the first quarter of 2023. So it actually took place in this little time period here between August, and let's see what GameStop's price was. And you have to wonder, right now I'm just starting to build ideas here. If they were purchasing between August and November, that was right here. Wait. August to November, and the price is going down. So they're just buying up shares to be loaned to short sellers in this whole time period. That's kind of what it seems. at least in my eyes, considering that most of the shares appear to be purchased in that time period. I mean, we're seeing like 0.72 just bought shares more recently. Maybe that's where we're seeing kind of this price action. But, and also like a lot of the positive calls and the puts being dumped, it kind of seems like the large institutions were loading up the whole way down here. And also loading shares to short sellers is allowing them to keep loading up at lower prices. And now it seems like the market makers are dumping the puts. So it seems like an interesting shift, but take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt, because you never know. Maybe it's part of a big idea that individuals such as myself should come up with that idea to get people to do this or do that, right? So you never truly know, is I guess what I'm saying. And that's why I like to say it's always good to just focus on the fundamentals at the end of the day. Focus on what the company's doing, because that's really what it all boils down to, right? It all comes down to that. And then all this other stuff is certainly interesting and spicy to look at, but so long as the company's succeeding and focusing on shareholder value in the long term, I think everything's just inevitable in terms of positive price action for GameStop. Well, that's just what I think. You could disagree. Let's see. Oh yeah, Ruben, thank you for being here. If you are still here, I know, sorry, I had technical problems before. Oh yes, there you are. Noise, okay. So they want to buy now. I see how it is. Exactly, XBit. I do see how it is. You're back. Yes, Ryan. I've had some technical difficulties. I think I am going to wrap it up in a few minutes, though. I'm getting pretty burnt out. Like I said, I'm just trying to get so much organized. I was showing you guys before on the other stream, like this basement's still a bit of a mess. Still got things to clean upstairs. I got to clean my fish tank. So love the fish. The fish are the homies. So yeah, and definitely got to do the hot ones challenge soon. I think I told you guys. I don't know where it is. I put it away, but definitely want to do a Tetron does hot ones. If you guys have any ideas, let me know in the chat right now, because I am trying to get ideas to do like hot ones, or like any good questions, or how I should go about it. Like I was thinking maybe somebody interviews me and asks me questions about GameStop, but like, I'll kind of like guide them, but I'll say, ask me generally about these points, to keep it relative to my channel, but, put your own interesting spin on it. And I'll try and pick like a fun individual to interview me who will maybe also eat the wings with me, or at least like ask some questions, or I know they would be good on the camera, good energy, stuff like that. So let's see, ideas for hot ones challenge. Or I don't know, I guess I want to see like on YouTube like other people who did it. That'd be certainly interesting to see. But I don't know, I just think like the challenge is gonna be. I'm not that good with spice, and I was like doing watching some of the reactions, and I was like, whoa, wow, this is gonna be pretty tough. Not gonna lie, but I mean it'll be fun to try, and it's like a fun experience. I was gonna actually do it on the Super Bowl originally, but then I thought about it. I'm like, I'm gonna want to have beer on the Super Bowl, and like enjoy the Super Bowl and just vibe. Like this is gonna be like my full attention, full effort, like full planned day. But I want to see how like other people do it. Yeah, say like one of these things. People say the last dab's the worst. Yes, yeah, I might even do boneless chicken bites, because if I'm gonna be on camera, I make such a mess when I eat wings. I don't know if you guys want to see that. I love the Shaq reaction. This one right here. Ooh, that's funny. See, I don't understand economics very well, but why is the market running CPIs when CPI came in above expectations? Granted, not by much. Wait, let me read that one more time. I don't understand economics very well, but why is market running when CPI came in above expectations? Granted, not by much. Honestly, Movier, I feel like we're in an extremely irrational market. That's definitely a part of it. Just as a whole, the past couple of years, there's just so much uncertainty, just so much craziness going on. But the craziest part to me, because I agree, I'm like, it is kind of weird, considering CPI was also just changed how they calculate it. Once again, they always change how CPI is calculated, right? They always are like, oh, well, now it's this or that. They literally just updated it before this report, and it still came in higher. And I think maybe why the market was up today was, oh, well, retail sales are strong. They were up like the most they've been month over month. They're very strong year over year. But retail sales data, right, doesn't account for inflation. I don't know her name, but she puts out great info. I was showing her on the stream the other day. I might have retweeted. I don't know. Maybe she'll pop up here. But basically, retail sales doesn't account for inflation. Yes, perfect. See, but the real story, like huge increases, but inflation. So if you consider the inflation, then, and if you read what she puts here, what's really happens in Americans are having to take on more credit card debt to afford the same things because of inflation. Yeah, that is what it seems like. Combine today's retail sales data with strong jobs data from January, unemployment at a record low, and strong CPI from yesterday, the Fed has to keep raising for longer. Roll up your sleeves, pal, and get to work. Crazy. It's actually crazy. Yeah, then the national credit card debt this is a wild picture to me. Because this time period we went through the past few years, it's such an interesting case study, and it's just very interesting to see what's happened over this time and how during that time where it was like you couldn't really buy anything, so people were like, shit, all right, let me just pay off my debt. And now people are just back to how things always were. Like it's interesting. I feel like so many individuals are just like short-sighted or nearsighted in terms of like finance, money, etc. And I think that's how a lot of these trades get pushed to the masses, right? Like, yeah, trade this. Oh, this is the next big play. Oh, this is that. And you just see it everywhere. And you're just like, all right, yeah, like, and it's all about the long term, in my opinion, because of stuff like this. There's a lot of fugazi in the market always. So you really have to keep a long-term viewpoint, in my opinion. But that's what I think. Tetron mukbang coming soon. I don't know what that means, Danzo, but is it maybe mean like relative to the hot ones? That's gonna kill me. Gotta do the whole thing. Hot ones inspired wings. It's interesting. Guess coming overconfident. Yeah, I'm not gonna be overconfident. This dude's hilarious. The Giovanni's so goofy. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have to try. Remember that one chip challenge? I was curious about that too. I was like, damn. But yeah, definitely check out her account. What was her name? Genevieve. I'm not even sure how to say it, but she's very smart. Or seems to be. I mean, all the information she puts out, I think, is pretty good. So I like to keep up with some of her tweets. Think she puts good information out there. And this is true. This isn't the real story here. So 140, bro. The Vive X fit. AMC's going there. And it's so funny how Marantz is trolling this guy Ants. And Ants is a clown because you talk all this shit, you come out of nowhere, you blow up, and you're going to say, oh, it's going to 140. And then people start being like, wait, why is it not a 140? You turn off your chat. Like, you don't live stream as much, you delete things. Like, whack. But yeah, I don't know. Just focus on myself. I try not to get too caught up in other stuff. Marantz is hilarious, though, how he'd be roasting it. And how he'd be calling out so much stuff. And, like, I was, like, clowning around with this guy a little bit today. George Estes, just because he was all, I don't know, he just replied to me for no reasons. I'm like, shit, all right, you want to mess around, Mr. KMB investor? But I don't know, maybe I'm talking about too many people. That's why my internet's going off. But I also think it's part of OBS. I just have to maybe optimize a little better. Eventually get another computer. Gods Unchained. I gotta play that again. Damn. Yeah, I want to play Curaverse. Thing is, it will absolutely not run on my computer. So, let's see. Yeah, Fax XFit, 140 by last week. But yeah, let's just go look at Curaverse real quick. Definitely would be exciting to see a few more in-browser games, kind of like Buck Bunny. I think that'd be kind of cool too. This built by GameStop, just get the ball rolling, just some fun stuff, some small things. It really starts with the small things, it really is brick by brick. It kind of sounds generic to say that, but it really is. Let's see. Marketplace, okay. I have vehicles, weapons, emotes, nice. To connect your wallet. Partners, GameStop and Immutable X. Our team comes from a diverse tech background, nice. Will the game be out? Okay. Public release. Okay, yeah, I think public release was February. Free to play, love to see it. Cure bucks, in-game currency. Use the marketplace. Oof, yeah. I need to establish this. Oh, okay. We support all NFTs no matter which chain they're on or format they're in. We are building technology that will help us integrate whole collections in a time-efficient manner while saving labor-intensive hours that it takes to do manually, with the goal of adding value and utility to all communities. Interesting. It's kind of cool. They're just very open-minded about it. Like, hey, if you want to, it seems, well, how I read that at least is like, if you have an NFT you want to put on our marketplace in some way, let us know. We'll try to help you out. Pretty interesting. Yeah, see, do they have a roadmap? Okay. Interesting. And also, I remember like Wagme Games. I haven't even kept up with them. They had sent me something a while back for like a creator's like application to get early access. I did it, but then I didn't like do the response email, or I don't know. I just my problem is, guys, I always want to do everything. I always want to do everything or try, and then I easily forget a lot of things because I'm trying to do everything. It's definitely something I got to work on. So I wish I followed through on that, but I'm sure I could do it again. I gotta look into them more. But again, powered and tradable soon on Immutable X at GameStop. Yeah, see, I want to play this, the tower defense. That seems pretty fun. It's going to be fun to try these games. And over time, eventually, guys, I'm going to get my own place. I'm going to get my own setup. I'm going to have it all established, and I'm going to be running these games. And if we live stream for fun, I'll have you guys on. I think it'll be a great time down the line. But I think I definitely want to try this. Definitely curious about tower defense. I feel like that's a classic fun game. Like, remember Balloons Tower Defense? I don't know if anybody used to play that in school. I don't know if we can find that right now. That's funny. But that's my favorite, like, classic tower defense. I remember playing this in school because it was like not blocked, and it's like, yo, no way, yo, you can play it on this website. And even just like in high school, and even still, like just straight vibing. I used to, I guess you have to do it on here, but it was just like a straight vibe if you didn't want to do your work, right? So this will be cool to see, as this game continues to come out. Other games continue to come out on Web3. Institutional ownership, certainly spicy on GameStop. I'll try and think of a way I can compile the data more, information more. Maybe something we could do with it, maybe something we could find, but at the end of the day, it's something interesting to keep an eye on because, like I said, it all comes down to what the company's doing. So that's why I really look forward to the next earnings report, DRS count, everything and all things they have to say on the conference call, even if it's simple. So we'll see. As for me, I like the stock. Shout out to DFV. But thank you so much, everyone, for being here tonight. Hope everyone has a good night. Take care. Soon, I'm going to get an outro, so it'll be like, it's a crazy idea. Maybe, just maybe, I'll drop my own track as like a Tetron intro. But we'll see. I don't know. I'm not the best rapper, so I'll definitely need some auto-tune. And I also need a beat or something. So we'll see. Stay tuned. Maybe I can pull that together. But hope everyone has a good night.